A family was found frozen to death by the pool in the middle of a scorching summer. When a man approached one of the girls and lifted her head, he discovered her skin was soft and elastic. Clearly, she hadn't frozen to death. Just 2 days earlier, a massive snowstorm had suddenly swept through Argentina. Anyone who touched the snow died instantly. Cars, phones, and all electronic devices lost power and stopped working. Only a few people indoors survived, and they gradually uncovered the terrifying truth behind this snowfall. That day, 5 old friends were playing cards when the power suddenly went out. Strangely, all their phones died too. Then a loud crash came from outside. A car had crashed, the driver's arm hanging out the window, apparently unconscious. They saw what looked like heavy snow falling outside, but it was summer. While everyone stood bewildered, an elderly man mentioned he'd seen news about a power plant fire recently. These white snow-like particles might be asbestos, and the people outside might have been poisoned by inhaling it. Hearing this, the homeowner Paul immediately directed everyone to seal any drafty spots in the house with tape. Someone noticed lights coming on in Paul's neighbor's house. Then the neighbor drew the curtains. They shouted warnings not to open the windows, but the neighbor misunderstood, thinking they needed something, and opened the window directly. The second, he collapsed motionless on the windowsill. His wife rushed to check on him and instantly fell at the window too. It seemed skin contact with the snow meant death. This scene made Matt extremely anxious. His wife and daughter went jogging every morning, so he had to get home to stop them. He went to the garage and tried starting his car, only to find it wouldn't start at all. Paul suggested making a protective suit, but without proper materials. They could only dress Matt in several waterproof jackets, put plastic bags over his feet, and seal his sleeves and pant legs with tape. Finally, Paul gave Matt an old gas mask that had been sitting in storage for years. Paul had never used it, but hoped it might offer some protection against the asbestos outside. Fully suited up, Matt nervously headed outside. Once there, he found himself unharmed. The mask and clothing were actually working. When he stepped on the white ground, he realized this wasn't asbestos at all, but snow. He said goodbye to his friends watching from the window and headed home. The city now looked like the apocalypse. Bodies littered the streets. Most people hadn't even figured out what was happening before the deadly snowflakes killed them. Just as Matt was feeling numb, a sharp whistle suddenly pierced the air. Matt looked back in confusion and saw a soldier standing in the snow, silently watching him. He tried to make out the person's face, but they vanished without a trace. Matt quickly realized he was hallucinating. Not daring to hesitate, he hurriedly pulled out a map to confirm his location. To get home faster, he started following the railroad tracks. Before long, a train appeared that made Matt slow down. The horrific scene before him was shocking. Outside the train lay people who'd tried to escape, all lightly dressed, who'd attempted to flee the train but had all fallen to the deadly snowflakes. Just as Matt was about to leave, knocking sounds came from behind. A few survivors on the train were desperately banging on the windows, hoping for Matt's help. After hesitating, Matt carefully entered from the other end of the car. He learned these people had been trapped here for 6 hours. Their thin clothing couldn't protect them from the severe cold, so they could only huddle together in the cramped car for warmth. Those who hadn't hidden in time had become corpses in the aisle the moment the car doors opened. Matt knew that without heating supplies, these people would likely freeze to death before even touching the snowflakes. But Matt was powerless to help. He could only take a large bottle of water from his backpack and toss it over, hoping it would help them hold on a bit longer. In this apocalyptic world, this was all Matt could do. Hours later, Matt finally made it home. With the shelter of the house, he could finally remove the heavy mask. Matt frantically searched for his wife and daughter but couldn't find them. Suddenly, sounds of rummaging came from the living room. Matt rushed over and angrily grabbed the person by the collar, demanding to know where his wife was. To his disappointment, the man was just there looking for food and knew nothing else. Neighbors heard the commotion and came to check. Just as Matt let go, everyone was shocked to see his hand had touched the deadly snowflakes. Matt touched the snow in disbelief, not understanding why he hadn't lost his life like the others. Just then, Matt's wife suddenly appeared. She immediately drove everyone out of the room. She said their daughter had gone to a classmate's party last night and was now missing. With this lead, Matt immediately decided to search for their daughter with his wife. But when they opened the door, they found all the apartment survivors blocking the doorway. Having heard that Matt had touched the snow without dying, they questioned him like hungry wolves, demanding to know why he was immune to the deadly snowflakes.